We're on an adventure, driving as far east as our rusty, not-so-trusty van will allow. Join us, Lucy and Ben, on our journey around the hot springs, remote villages and undiscovered lands of Europe, Turkey and beyond. In this episode, we visit Eurasia's largest alpine lake, sample delicious Armenian food in one of the capital city's top restaurants, before revisiting the puppy we rescued at the Simba dog shelter. Finally, we attempt to drive our highest road yet, at almost 3,200 metres. Will we make it to the top, or will it be too dangerous?
So we are currently on the shores of Lake Sevan in Sevan National Park, Armenia.
And in this video, we're going to be heading to Armenia's capital city, Yerevan, to check on the puppy that we rescued a few videos back. While we're there, we're also going to be trying out some traditional food and visiting an abandoned Soviet greenhouse and botanical garden, before finally, we're going to be attempting to drive up to the highest mountain in Armenia.
So where we are right now is actually the largest alpine lake in Eurasia. But unfortunately, it's not as beautiful as it first seems. So from an aerial photo, this place looks perfect for swimming, for sunbathing, for walking. But in reality, when you get up close, there is miles and miles of plastic. There's even a tin bath here, glass bottles and needles. It is certainly not the sort of place that you're going to want to come and sunbathe and swim. And personally, I can't believe that this is considered a national park and it's just not protected from human waste whatsoever.
I just find it deeply saddening. This is supposed to be like the jewel of Armenia, the holiday destination where most of the country comes to swim because it's a landlocked country. I mean, the lake occupies a sixth of the total country's landmass. I just find it deeply saddening that people can't take care of the place here.
It's quite something to see, isn't it, really? It's a bit of a shock. And it really makes me feel like our efforts back home are just in vain because people here just don't care, or not enough people care.
We had mixed feelings about Eurasia's largest alpine lake. Whilst it was certainly beautiful, the rubbish spoiled the ambience and left us feeling disappointed in people. So we left for the capital city of Yerevan to sample Armenian food and reunite with the puppy we'd rescued during our first week of travelling in the country.
So as we arrive into Yerevan, one of the first things we see is this entirely apocalyptic landscape, just full of rubbish. Now this is one of over 300 unregulated waste sites in the country, and it's a surprise that this country isn't just drowning in its own waste. There seems to be no way of getting rid of this properly, and as you can see all around us, when the wind picks up, it just blows everywhere. It's not just confined to the so-called rubbish tip, it blows over all the fields and hills around it. It's really a sight to behold, and these sites just burn rubbish all day, 24/7. We've seen many of them over the country, all around and they're burning. There's dogs and there's cows feeding off them, there's people clambering over them. But hopefully, since a couple of years ago, things do seem to be taking a slight turn for the better. The government do seem to be getting on it now, and European funding and backing apparently, supposedly, seems to be cleaning up the problem. I can't imagine what it must have looked like a few years ago if this is an improvement. And you really have to look at who's to blame for this. It's not the countries, it's not the people who even throw it away. It's the companies that produce the waste in the first place. We've become so dependent on all of this single-use plastic and unrecyclable goods and packaging in general. And these companies that profess to care so much in the Western countries about greener packaging and more sustainable ways of working, they couldn't give a toss when it comes to this part of the world. It's the same companies producing the waste here, and they just don't care. So anytime you see these companies in the UK saying, we care about our planet, we're reducing our packaging, we're making our packaging greener, just don't believe it for a second, because when you come here and you start venturing out of Europe, it is clear to see that these very same people couldn't care less. It's all about the money. So if we really want to make an impact on this world, we need to just stop using these people altogether, start using more local stuff, go into greengrocers instead of multinational companies. Every little thing you do is going to make a huge difference, and it's so prevalent when you come out to these parts of the world. You see the damage firsthand that we are doing to the planet. We can't get rid of the waste quicker than we're producing it, and it's scary that every plastic item that's ever been produced, unless it's been burnt, is still on this planet. It's just shocking, and it's only going to get worse. The sun is shining in beautiful Yerevan today, making this wonderful city look even more beautiful. So we are now off to get some delicious Armenian food. We found the #1 rated restaurant in the city, and there is so much good stuff on there to choose from. We're too tight to take a taxi, so we're going to do a 20-minute walk in the rain, taking in the lovely scenery of this brutalist city, and then hopefully we're going to get some nice food and show you guys what Armenian cuisine is all about.
After a soggy walk through the city, we arrived at Lavash, one of the capital's most prominent restaurants. What does Lavash mean, Ben?
Bread.
Ben immediately got to work thoroughly investigating the menu, and eventually I got a chance to as well.
We've already looked at the menu online. I'm pretty sure we know what we're going to get, and we're going to get a lot, especially after that walk in the rain. So first up, we've got this amazing cold starter, which is an aveluk salad. Aveluk is mountain sorrel, and the salad has got onion, garlic, coriander. It's delicious, really unique. Hits the spot, full of flavour, but really light as well. First dish, very good. I don't think you're going to like it. I knew Lucy wasn't going to like that. The garlic in there is really, really strong aroma, and there's also lots of crumbed up walnut in there, so it gives it a little bit of crunch. If we didn't have that, it would be quite a soggy dish, but I'm actually quite happy that Lucy doesn't like it because it is delicious. So this amazing dish here is called emmer wheat, which is a type of grain with fried mushrooms in it and spices. Absolutely delicious. And I never get to eat mushrooms because Lucy hates them, so this is a good dish for me. So this dish here is called jingalov, I think. It's basically very similar to a naan bread. It's a stuffed bread. Looks like it's cooked in a tandoor, and it's got sort of diced up vegetables and herbs and stuff like that inside. It smells really aromatic, full of flavour, and it's a famous dish in Armenia from times of war and famine, so I guess it's a really cheap and easy dish to make. Let's give it a try. Oh wow. So it's kind of like a salsa verde. There's lots of coriander, parsley, lemon juice, chili, oil. Really, really good that.
It's like buttery as well, fresh, herby, light. It's amazing. Oh my god. Really, really good.
So this rather interesting looking dish here is called ghapama with lavash, I believe. There's so many elements to this, I don't know where to begin. This is a stuffed pumpkin, right, with rice. And then it's got loads of caramelised... Whoa, what is that? Caramelised lavash. Caramelised in honey, soaked in honey. Really sweet. This is like a big dessert on a plate. You've got bright green mayonnaise on here. I'm not sure what that adds to it at all. Mayonnaise is invented by the devil himself, so I'm certainly not touching that. But let's try a bit of the butter. Here. Wow. What a unique combination of flavours. So within the pumpkin there's all of these diced up bits of pumpkin, rice and lavash. Lavash is a really unique flatbread they make here in Armenia as well as Turkey. It's commonly used for like kebab, like durum and stuff like that, to wrap it up. Never had it like this before as a sweet. This is really unique and so full of flavour.
One thing I immediately love about going out for food here is the huge range of vegetarian options that you can get. Because Armenia is a Christian country, they actually observe a period of fasting for around 40 days, around the Easter period. And in fact, yesterday was Easter Sunday. So by fasting, they mean they do not consume any animal products within this period, which means that most restaurants have a fasting menu alongside their normal menu, which is free of meat and often dairy products like butter and yogurt, for example. So it means we've got this huge range of dishes that we can try when we're in these countries, and that is amazing for us as vegetarians who are very much used to eating the same old boring food every time we go out to a restaurant.
So all that lovely food in this quite fancy restaurant came to just under 11,000 dram, which is about £22. Absolute bargain. So much fresh, healthy food on that plate. Yeah, 10 out of 10 here. Really rate the food in Armenia. But I think now it's going to have a slow waddle somewhere and burn it off. So some of you might remember from our first video in Armenia, we rescued the puppies and brought them to the shelter in Yerevan, and we were so grateful that they took them in. And this is going to be our last stop in the city today. We're going to go back to the shelter and we're going to see the puppy and hand them some money that you lovely bunch of people have donated us to pass on to them.
Some of you might notice that we are in fact saying puppy and not puppies, and that is because I have some very sad news, and that is that about a week ago the younger and smaller of the two puppies unfortunately didn't make it. He was just not strong enough. He had such a bad start in life, got torn away from his mother so early that he just didn't have the strength to process the vaccines that were given to him in order to get him out of this country and into a loving home, and sadly he ended up passing away. So it's just the one puppy that we're going to visit, but it's going to be wonderful to be reunited with him, isn't it?
It's very sad, but it's going to be very happy to go and see the other one, and you know, this shelter's doing really good work and we want to make that very clear, and hopefully we found someone back in the UK who's going to adopt the remaining puppy, so it's going to be at least a happy story for the one remaining puppy. So let's go and say hi.
Oh, doesn't he look so much happier?
Yeah, loads happier.
Oh, you're so much more playful and energetic. On это лучше сейчас. Вас зовут для его?
Вы должны сказать.
Его надо имя для паспорта, да?
Yeah, what are you thinking?
Teddy.
Teddy.
Because he's always looked like a little teddy bear, isn't he?
This one likes you as well.
Hello.
Панда.
Panda.
Хороший меня.
Да, похож. Вот, черный, белый. Вот.
Да.
Всё похож.
Да.
Панду.
You're falling asleep again. Это для вас и от наших друзей в Англии.
Спасибо.
Okay, time to say goodbye, at least for a few months until we come and pick him up again. We'll see you when you're a big puppy. And we'll find you a forever home. Isn't he gorgeous? Look at the size of him.
He's almost the height of me.
Hello. Hello.
Simba Dog Shelter are doing great work with the limited resources they have. With over 40 dogs in their care, many are available for adoption. We're currently in the process of adopting one puppy back to the UK, and although it's proven to be more challenging than we'd anticipated, it's most certainly possible and so worth it. If anyone watching is interested, we'd be happy to give advice on the process and put you in touch with the shelter. Alternatively, you can make a donation to help the shelter with their work, which will go towards food and vaccinations for all the dogs to ready them for adoption. These dogs pictured are just some of the many waiting to find their forever homes, so if you would like to adopt or make a donation, you can find all the information in the description below. And so began our final adventure in Armenia, attempting our highest road yet, but not before stopping off at the Armenian Alphabet Monument, a tribute to one of the oldest and most unique languages in the world. The language was created 1600 years ago by a man named Mesrop Mashtots, with the intention of writing the Bible of the new Christian kingdom in. Each of the 39 letters was inspired by Christian beliefs. The 39 letters were immortalised here in stone to commemorate the 1600th birthday of the Armenian language.
So we are beginning to climb now. There's snow on the horizon, and I think today is going to be a case of just seeing how far we can get rather than trying to get to the top.
The highest road we've ever driven is the Col de Galibier in the Alps in France, which is just over 2,600 metres. So we've only got to get to 2,700 metres today to beat our record. Obviously it'd be amazing to make it to the top, but if we can just get that far up, I think I'll be quite happy.
Oh, come on, we've got to give it a try, haven't we? Let's see what we can do.
It's just like a huge avalanche across the whole road. Oh.
Oh, what a shame. I thought we were really going to make it.
No, we're at 2,370. He's looking
Damn
at
it.
us. He's just looking at us like, don't even try it. Oh.
Oh, we got so close, Lucy,
That is a
but
big wedge of snow
you know
there.
what? There's no chance on earth we're getting over that. So this snowy hill today actually marks the end of our journey, not just in Armenia, but on this trip in general. We have come as far east as we can, and this is the final hurdle.
It is. For the reasons we mentioned in our Georgia video, we simply cannot travel any further east right now because of border restrictions. And honestly, I am so impressed that our van has actually made it this far, and I don't know how much further it could realistically go. She is on her knees with rust, with engine problems. She's getting old, isn't she? She's struggling a bit.
She is. There's so much wrong with this van now, and we will do one more video after this just to show you everything that needs to be repaired on it before we get home, because this van, if we even attempt to drive it into Western Europe, we're going to get pulled over and we're going to get stopped, and God knows what's going to happen. So we've got a lot to repair in Turkey before we get home.
But it's roads like this particular one that remind us just of why to travel through this part of the world you really do need a well-equipped van. You need a 4x4 to be able to go into these amazing remote mountains and villages and off-road and pretty much access most of these countries. In fact, from this point and further east, we're going to need a 4x4 van.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's been such a pleasure to come to Armenia. We've thoroughly enjoyed it. The only thing that's really inhibiting us having the ultimate adventure here is our vehicle. There's so many endless tracks that you can take into the mountains and into the deserts and the valleys, and we just can't take them in our van. We have to have a 4x4, and we've just come to that point in our journeys and in our lives now where we want to push a little bit further than we can. And it really is time to upgrade to a 4x4. We've already got the vehicle, it's waiting for us back home, and very, very soon we're going to start work on it. And just you wait until you see what we've bought. It's brilliant. It's even more cool than this van, even more of an underdog. And it's going to be such an extreme journey that we're going to take it on next.
We've got big plans for the future. This really was just a kind of recce, a small winter adventure in preparation for what we have got ahead. We are turning around and going back to the UK, but we are by no means ending the journey. And if you're on Patreon, you will have seen our new adventure vehicle already. But if you're not, we would love for you to have a guess in the comments and see if you can work out what it is. I bet you can't.
If you already know what it is, don't say, but I'm certain that no one will guess what this van's going to be. A complete and utter underdog.
True
and that's
underdog.
all we're going to say for now. But we really hope you've enjoyed our adventures across this eastern region of the world in this van. It's over for now. I feel quite sad,
I know.
but it's been the adventure of a lifetime, and there's going to be so much more to come after.
It's been a dream come true. This is an area of the world we have been longing to visit for absolutely years, and it finally feels like we've pushed beyond that kind of safe boundary of Europe and into the unknown, and there is so much more adventures waiting for us ahead.
This is goodbye for now, isn't
It
it?
is goodbye. We're going to turn the van around, we're going to escape this avalanche road, and we're going to make a very slow journey out of Armenia and back to the UK.
Begin that long journey home, 5,000 or 6,000 miles. Right, my arse is freezing cold sat on this snow. It's time to say goodbye one final time, and once again, hope you've really enjoyed this adventure as much as we have.
And we're still going to be posting behind the scenes videos of the whole return journey on Patreon if you do feel like joining us on there. This is not going to be the end of our adventures, so yeah. Shall we make a move?
We should. Goodbye for now.
Bye! Go with your asses.
Word. You scared the out of
Do you
me.
think that was the camera?
Oh my god.
I'm so sorry.
Oh god, I feel sick. My heart, mate. Oh. Second. Testing in the wind. Just testing in the wind. Can you hear the wind? Can you hear that wind? As it first seems.
Unfortunately, the entire shore. Am I supposed to be saying something?
No.
We're cutting, that's it. It just felt like I was on a roll. That's fine then, we're done. The camera's covered in puppy drool. Nope. So this is the Armenian alphabet monument. Do you know why they built a monument to the alphabet? No? Just to show it off.
I thought you were going to give me the answer then.
No, I wasn't. No, I don't know. Backwards 5. S. That one's a U. That looks like an N. It looks like an O, but it's probably not an O. I do know this one. Russian F. It's actually a P in Armenia. Don't know who did it first. That's all I've learnt since we've been here.
For behind the scenes videos and to see the reality of making a TV programme and travelogue series, join us over on Patreon.